I was thinking about one of the most like profoundly helpful things about all these years that I've worked with Steve. Um, and and like what gave me this sense of confidence in the process of creating a coaching practice, because I came in with none. No faith, no confidence, no trust that there was enough clients and enough money, just like a real I actually worked with a coach in maybe 2009 for a little bit, and I had just a really tough experience with her. Um, I wasn't ready, I'll say, to really build my practice at that time. And she was really, forceful in how she was coaching me. And I left that experience just like, I'll never be a coach. Like, I could never do this. I hate the profession. There's nothing in it for me. But damn it, I really want to be. Like, oh, it was such a conflict for a long time. And at the heart of it was a fear that I couldn't do it, like that everybody else would figure it out and I just wouldn't be able to figure it out. That somehow there were coaches working professionally that had something that I was missing. And I think this was really invisible to me for about a year of working with Steve one-on-one. And it was, I'd show up to a session with him and I would say, Steve, I need to create a client. And there's nobody. It's just crickets out here, 0 people anywhere. And he would be like, no problem. Of course, you feel that way. Makes sense. Yep. So what do you want to create? Be like, a client. Damn it. I want to create a client. I want to create a client that's paying me. But people go really vague, but people don't really want to pay me and don't really want to invest in coaching, and people don't even know what coaching is, and people just like the free sessions, and people do this and people do that, and then he'd be like, well, what do you want? Well, I want a client. And then he'll say something like, well, who do you want to serve? And it was like this, just like cutting through the fog and cutting through the temporary insanity where I wasn't, and I say that meaningfully, like I wasn't seeing clearly. I wasn't seeing facts. I was seeing this illusion that I had been living in that was very painful because the thing I wanted looked impossible. So he'd say, well, who do you want to work with? Who would you like to serve? And like, I still feel like the layers are peeling off, and that moment, I'm still appreciating like the profound nature of that moment, of that question of like, well, who do you want to serve? Because every single coach I've ever worked with has run into that same feeling of like, there's nobody. I've tapped out. I've contacted everybody. I have coached everybody I know. I've coached my friends, my family, my coworkers. It's over. It's over for me. It's just crickets. It's desolate out there. And then this is, again, I just shared this with somebody in this group a few days ago. This is why I love coaching coaches. It's not because, this is why, because I know that will inevitably come up for everybody, and I know that it's an illusion. So I'm not afraid of it. And I know it's not an illusion because I know that any coach that has stuck with themselves in the process creates clients every time. I don't have a single client that I've worked with for 6 months or a year, one-on-one in a focused way, that doesn't create clients. and they're not special. They're just starting to question themselves a bit. And this is it. It's not, you don't have to like get over all this thinking. You don't have to. Steve didn't work with me on my thinking. He went beyond it into reality, which is, well, who do you want to serve? And just slowing down inside myself and getting out of the illusion that there's nobody and I've messed up over here and I can't reconnect there. Every single time I'd have one or two or sometimes 10 people come in, that I'd be like, well, okay, I could reconnect with that person. Or I actually don't know if I really helped that person in our 3 sessions and then they disappeared. I don't know if I even helped them. I wonder if they're just out there in the universe without help still, because they tried once with me and maybe it didn't go well. I could reconnect from a service-oriented place and see how they're doing. Like I would always have, it's like when I get over myself and get into reality, I'd always have 1 or 2 people, sometimes 10, but at least 1 or 2, that it was clear. It's like, okay, let me connect. Let me get a new idea about how to connect. So I would talk to Steve. I'd be like, well, this person, I feel like I blew it, but they keep coming to mind. And he'd be like, great, let's talk about them. Tell me about them. What was your last interaction like? Why do you want to work with them? And then sometimes it was, well, just reconnect and see. Sometimes it was, well, is there a different kind of program that might serve them? Do you want to offer them something different? Sometimes it was too much for me. It was like, oh, I can't actually go there. So we go on to the next person. But it's, I think with getting into this deeper understanding that like that there are people and you only need 1 at a time. I used to hate it when he would say that. Actually, we just need one client at a time. Be like, no, I need 10 right now, like today. I have that kind of drive and energy. I want to go create now. And in reality, it's like 1 at a time is enough. And this is something else I wanted to share with you all. When I have a client that I'm working with who's building their practice and they're like, I'm not doing enough, it's not happening enough, I just ask, how many enrollment calls do you have on your calendar? And if they have 1, like you're winning. Like that's all you ever need at a time. And I know I could have lots of debates about that, well, just 1 isn't enough. But the truth is, you can only enroll 1 client at a time in a moment. You can have 20 enrollment conversations on your calendar, but if you have 1, you're at least 1, that means something is happening behind the scenes in your practice that you can keep repeating. Like that's an indication that you're going through the process. You're giving yourself a shot. You're serving.